Hey guys, Smart Sports here. So, breaking news here. The Carolina Panthers have hired Frank Reich to be their new head coach. Let's get into it. So, this is a very interesting move here. I don't really agree with this. They had Steve Wilkes as interim head coach who finished the season out for them. And with the weapons he had, and especially what he had in the quarterback room, it's a miracle he finished 7 and 10. And I do not really see why he was not hired as the head coach. The Raiders last year did something kind of similar, which Bisaccia did well as interim head coach, and they didn't hire him. But Frank Reich, about 4.5 years in Indianapolis, went 40, 33, and 1. But he had a different quarterback like every year. In 2018, he had Andrew Luck, and as a result, they went 10 and 6 and made it to the divisional round. Then the next year, when Andrew Luck unexpectedly retired before the season, they had Jacoby Brissett, and they couldn't really get anyone better, so they ended up finishing 7 and 9. Then in 2020, they signed Philip Rivers, who at that time was a very old quarterback, but that's probably the best season other than Andrew Luck's season. They went 11 and 5, and they lost in the divisional round to a very close game against the Buffalo Bills. Then the next year, they got Carson Wentz, finished 9 and 8, lost 2 games in a row to miss the playoffs, and then this year they started 3-5 and 1 with Matt Ryan, who was underperforming, and Sam Ehlinger was also underperforming. For the majority of the time, they had T.Y. Hilton, who was good for a while, but they really not had many weapons on offense. Recently, especially last year, they had a really good running game in Jonathan Taylor, but Jonathan Taylor really regressed this year. So I do not really think it's Frank Reich's fault that they have done as inconsistent as they have in his career as their head coach. But in Carolina, they do have a decent defense. I would say top 15 probably, not quite top 10. And the offense, traded away a lot of their pieces, so they're really in a rebuild. The offense last year traded away Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey, so pretty much DJ Moore is who they mainly have. Also have Chuba Hubbard, who's okay, and Dante Foreman, who's okay. The quarterback room is not good. Don't have Baker Mayfield anymore, sorry. PJ Walker did okay in some games, but don't really think he's the answer. Tim Darnold really is a game manager that only sometimes loses your games. Like the last game, they really should not have won that. Sam Darnold passed for like 43 yards, no touchdowns. Had a single digit pass rate. It was like 4 or something like that. So they really need a draft a quarterback, but they don't really have super high of a draft pick. So we'll have to take a mid first round quarterback. They're definitely not getting Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, but they could definitely get Hendon Hooker, who is the quarterback for the University of Tennessee last year, who's declared for the draft, had a good year. That's who I think of if they could maybe get, probably a few others, but if they have a quarterback, and probably also the need to do is draft some running backs and receivers. Skill position offense is maybe the main weakness. Offensive line's okay. But like this is a rebuilding team, so Frank Reich will not be able to do a ton more than they did last year with the Panthers. I mean, I think he could perhaps compete for a playoff spot. So the division's pretty bad, so they might get in. But if they get him, they're not going to do well. But this is a rebuilding team. So yeah. Probably in like 2 to 3 years, if they build their team right, I do think the Carolina Panthers can be a somewhat decent team. Greg is a solid head coach. I do think it could have got better options though. Like, probably should have tried to get like a Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh. Not sure if those people would be interested, but those are just better head coaches than him. And maybe try one of the coordinators or kept Steve Wilkes, but Frank Reich is a solid hire. He's a solid head coach. Damn, like we do to the playoffs with like 10, 11 wins. See if the team is built right. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the Frank Reich hiring. And yeah, that's all. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye!